Today we are reviewing the 2024 BMW X1 M35i, which is on the third generation of this class, coming in at around $60,000. Now, is this M35i worth that price tag? Let's find out. All right, now I'm behind the wheel of the BMW X1 M35i. You know, on the outside, this actually looks really good. It's a smaller SUV class. It's only 2 rows with substantial trunk space, but it's got this really sporty look. So starting with the wheels on this model that we're driving today, it does have 20-inch wheels, and they're very unique. I love how they look. They've got a very sporty look with the black and gray, and then of course you can see the large M series brake calipers on the front in red, and man, they just stick out and they go so well with the black wheels. Moving on to the rear, you do have, actually, because this is the M series, you do have a spoiler at the top, and that helps attribute a lot to that sporty look. Towards the lower end of the door, of course, you've got the M series badging and the X1 badging. Also, another unique thing about the exterior of the M35i, the side view mirrors, they've got a different kind of look to them, and they look a little edgy. They've got a lot of cut lines, and they're painted, so that's always nice to see. But no, I think they look really good, and they are heated, as well as that's where your notification for blind spot alerts are and everything like that. The M35i is on its 3rd generation, and with this generation there is a little bit of a redesigned look. So on the front end you do have a little bit more airways on the grille, you know, for airflow. Honestly, in my opinion, it looks a lot like most other BMW grills, but it looks good. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. You also have your LED taillights, and also, you know, you've got some patterning going on in there to kind of differentiate them a little bit from other cars, so that's nice. Overall, the exterior of the car looks fantastic. Now, moving on to the interior where the magic happens, that's where everything gets special, right? When you open up the door, because this is an M series car, you do have a lot of M series coloring and features and badges within. On the door panel, you do have the blue stitching running through. It looks nice. It gives it kind of nice contrast, and there's also, you can see some red LED ambient light strips that also run around, as well as the aluminum silver speaker grills. The controls that you'll find on the door panel for the driver are very standard. Of course, you've got your 2 memory functions for your seat, and then your side view mirror controls, window controls. Also on the door panel is where you will find your trunk release button. So that's a little bit different, I guess. Typically you'll find it on the left-hand side here, but not on the X35i. Also, because this is an M series model, when you move on to the steering wheel, you do actually have 2 paddle shifters behind it. So when you're in manual mode, you can shift. And also, one thing that I've really grown to love is the boost pedal. You know, you hold it down and then you get 10 seconds of boost. It's, I don't know, it's just fun. But the steering wheel itself, it is leather, wrapped in leather. It does have heating available, and it's got very typical controls, whether it be your driver's assistance, your modes, your music, your calls, your voice assistant, volume, you know, you'll find it all right there. But as far as thickness goes, I actually like it. It fills your hand nicely. Your fingers aren't like overlapping. You're able to get a good grip on it, and you know, it feels really good. On the left-hand side, that's where you have your brightness controls, your headlight controls, or you can shut them off. Now, one thing that I'm actually a fan of on this dash, which you'll have to let me know if you are. I'm not sure if Steve is, but it has this eucalyptus wood trim, and I'll tell you what, this does not feel like fake wood. It feels real. You've actually, in 2024, have real wood trim, and that is awesome. I love it. Now, when you're sitting down in the M35i, right in front of you, you've got a massive curved display. Now, everything that you need to do basically is on this display. So that's a negative and a positive. It depends on who you ask, but the infotainment screen does come with BMW's newest generation of infotainment operating system, the iDrive 9. You know, it's decent, it's responsive enough. At times it feels a little bit slow and laggy, but overall it operates pretty dang good. You'll get your HVAC controls, your wireless Android Auto, wireless CarPlay. You can switch your modes, your driving modes. Now for your digital driving cluster, I love the sportiness of the M series driving clusters. Like, they just look fun. Kind of, instead of being a dial or anything like that, it's the vertical lines that kind of go up and in. I think it just looks fun. Now also, because this is the M series, we also have a heads-up display. You can customize that as well to all the different features you want to access on it. Moving on above the infotainment center, you've got an auto-dimming rear view mirror with 3 home link buttons. Very standard, but auto-dimming feature is fantastic. Love that. And then above that, you've got, of course, your dome lights, your SOS button, and then, of course, the panoramic sunroof control switch. And, you know, I just absolutely love these massive panoramic sunroofs. You know, it makes the car feel bigger on the inside, and it lets in a lot of natural light. And this one is actually nicely tinted because we've got a camera mounted in the back. We've got it open right now, and it's not that bad in here. You know, it's very well tinted. Also across the dash, you do have some silver accents and very large heating and air vents. And they're very typical, just a slider and it moves up and down. Nothing to write home about there, but they actually put out a good bit of air. Uncle Steve's chilly. Now below the infotainment center, where your center console is, everything is quite different. You've got this massive vertical area for your wireless charging pad, and it's kind of got this like bar to hold your phone in place. That's nice, I guess, at least then it's not flopping out of there. Or if you're in sport mode, you know, it holds your phone against the charging pad, so you're not going, not charging, not charging, you know. Then you've got 2 large cup holders, and then you also have 2 USB Type-C slots, and then a very large storage area next to below that. On the center console itself, that's where your gear selector is, your start-stop button, your mode button, which for your driving modes. And when you switch it like that, it actually comes up on the right-hand side of your infotainment screen instead of your gauge cluster. Then you've also got your auto hold button, which I've grown to love, then your volume controls and, you know, such like that for media. One thing that I am not really a big fan of, which I guess, you know, maybe it's okay because it's got this massive area for storage below the center console, is the center console storage. It's absolutely tiny. It's probably 1.5 inches wide, as long as the center console is, and then maybe 1 inch deep. I don't know what you're putting in there. Pens, I guess, and that's about it. Pens and some change. You're not fitting your phone in there or anything like that. Now the seats on the BMW X35i are actually pretty nice. Now the front seats are different from the rear seats, so let's talk about the fronts first. You get a very sporty M series badged seat. It's also got a manual like knee support area, which is, you know, nice to have. It adds a little bit of driver comfortability. And then it's also got about 13-way seat controls. So you can control the backrest width, you know, if you want a little bit more of a hug while you're driving. You can also, you've got lumbar control, of course, and then all of your typical different ways. And also, the passenger seat is also automatic. Now, it doesn't have any memory functions. You only get that in the driver's seat, but it is at least automatic, and they both have the knee support area, which is, you know, again, great to have. With Uncle Steve being 7'2", he really needs that all the way out there. Otherwise, he's got no support on his legs, so he was telling me how much he loves that. But I love how the seats look. They're very, you know, actually for how stiff they are, they're more comfortable than you would expect. And with how adjustable they are, you basically have endless options of how you want it set for your comfortability. Now in the rear seats, they kind of lose that sporty factor and they're just all black leather, which is fine. But, you know, I would have liked to see a little bit more M series touch on the rear. You've got the M series touch on the steering wheel, on the front seats, on the trim on the front, and then you just kind of lose it once you go to the back. Now, staying in the back seat, you do have 2 USB-C slots. However, it is not a tri-zone climate car. You've only got dual zone in the front, and then whatever you send in the front can be sent to the back. So nothing really to write home about there. You know, I guess at least it's got the vents, but yeah, you're not customizing it for the kids or anything like that. They're stuck with what you set it at. Now moving on to the trunk space, you do have a 12-volt charger outlet back here. One thing that is nice, you know, a lot of times when you go and get groceries, you got the sun beating down on them, but this has a cover that goes down or raises when you open the trunk, and you know, it's actually got a good bit of storage back there, so plenty of space. Also, the rear hatch is powered to open and close, which is, you know, nice to have. And however, it did fail the eggplant test. Now, as far as features go, this BMW is loaded with them. I mean, to say the least. You got remote start, you've got convenient unlocking and locking, so if you walk up to it, it'll unlock. If you're walking away, it'll lock. Basically, every driving convenience feature that you can imagine, this has, because it is a BMW. It can even help change lanes for you, you know, so everything that you need is right there. All right, so let's do our 0 to 60 test on our race box in the BMW 35i X. Let's go. Got her in sport mode, put boost on. Me and Uncle Steve are in the car. And we hit a 6.34 second 60 mile, which is way higher than advertised. You know, the documentation states that you should get somewhere around 4.7, 5.1. So we're over a second slower. Not great. Not a good look at all. You know, one thing I've noticed while driving around this BMW is that sometimes you get a lot of turbo lag. It just seems really finicky. Like, it doesn't always know when it wants to kick in or not. Now, as far as driving goes, you know, the visibility is fantastic. You know, with this being a little bit smaller, it's not like you've got tons of blind spots or you're worried about where the car is or anything. And of course, with all the driving assistance features, you know where things are anyways. But, you know, it's kind of fun to drive. It sounds fantastic. The windshield is pretty raked back, but that doesn't impact any visibility. I've got tons of headspace. I feel really comfortable in here. You know, with how adjustable the seat is, I'm very comfortable in the seat. Yeah, I mean, it drives fun. I expected it, though, with this inline-4 dual turbo setup to have a little bit more speed. Like when you're getting off, you know, a stoplight or a stop sign, or we'll just say the line, you've got very different results every time. Sometimes it's really jerky, sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's quick, and then other times it's just slow, you know? So it seems to vary. I'm not too sure what it is that's attributing to that, but there's not a lot of consistency with that I'm seeing anyways. But it is fun to drive. It's a small little SUV to tool around car with. If you've got like 1 or 2 kids, you know, you've got plenty of room for all of that. I think it's plenty comfortable.
So now Uncle Steve gonna talk about the powertrain. Well, BMW offer 2 models. The base model is X-Drive 28i. It has a 2.0 inline-4 twin-turbo engine, produce 241 horsepower. 0 to 60 is 6.2 seconds, and the mileage is 25 on city and 34 on the highway. And it has a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. And the next model is this model, the M35i. It has the same powertrain, however, it has more horsepower. It has 313 horsepower and 290 foot-pound of torque. However, the mileage is a little bit less. It's 23 miles per gallon in the city and 31 miles per gallon for the highway. For the exterior color, if you want anything beside white, it's extra. It can be from $600 to $1,200. And then for the 28i model, base model, the standard size wheel is 19-inch. And if you want to upgrade to 20-inch, it's cost around $1,350. But for the M35i, the standard wheel size is 19-inch. And if you want to upgrade to 20-inch, it's only $600. For the interior leathers, it's no charge. You can pick any color that you want with no additional cost.
Now, as far as pricing goes, the 2024 BMW X1 does start out at $41,495 for the X-Drive model. And the M35i xDrive model starts out at $50,895. Now, the one that we're driving today is fully loaded. It has just about every option that you can get, which does get it up to that $59,000, $60,000 range, right, Steve?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, special for a safety feature, it can go up to like $4,000 extra.
Yeah.
Well, for the drive, I kind of really like BMW, and they has been using the same slogan, the ultimate driving machine, and that's so true though. It drives really like it's like a sport car. Do you agree with me?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It sounds like a sports car, it drives like one, handles like one.
And the exhaust is just sound amazing. It's pretty close to the M2. I would say the M2 is a lot aggressive in terms of exhaust tone. And it's more, it's actually louder. So if you like the M2, this is pretty good for the exhaust tone, you know. Well, that is something that I really don't like. If especially you're paying like almost 60 grand, it does not have heated seat, it does not have the heating steering wheel, and also does not have the ventilation seat. So that's a kind of downside for me.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
And then the space actually is not too bad. It's bigger than a cross track.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Steve, you're 7'2", and you fit everywhere. You fit in the back, you fit in the front.
Yeah, with no problem. Yep. And also the one thing that I don't like is the back seat. So you cannot fold down from the back, like all the way to the back from the tailgate. You have to go to the back door, the rear door, open it, and pull the string, I think, to fold it down. So it's kind of not convenient, especially you have something carry like an eggplant, like a big eggplant, and you want to fold down the seat. You have to go all the way to the front and then pull the string, you know.
Man, yeah. When you're carrying a large eggplant, you need to be able to easily do that from the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one thing, like, there seems to be an abundance of features in this BMW, but also it's lacking a lot of very things that we would consider basic.
Exactly. And the performance doesn't add up.
No,
like 2.0 is pretty good, and then turbo. And then they have twin turbo. And still producing only 313 horsepower.
Yeah, we were over a second slower than data says for our 0 to 60. And don't get me wrong, I understand we had, you know, 2 people in the car and everything like that, but
that's why I'm 7'8", so.
Yeah, but I mean, out of, you know, the 20 different cars that we've used the Racebox with, this is like some of our worst results yet. So in conclusion, what do we think of this 2024 BMW X1 M35i SUV? Well, there's a lot of big positives to it, but there's some heavy negatives to it as well. The performance doesn't add up. The turbo is laggy, even though it's a twin turbo. The cost is high and it's missing a lot of features. You know, so there's some things that we really aren't fans of about it. But other than that, like, the drive is amazing. It looks fantastic. It can hold a family. There's reasonable room everywhere. And then, of course, there's a lot of features that are great too. You know, the panoramic sunroof, the amazing sounding exhaust. But are the positives strong enough to justify spending nearly $60,000 on this? You know, if I had to go to the store today and pick out a SUV, I don't think I could pick this one.
Yeah, and especially it failed the eggplant test.
Yeah, I can't have it chopping off my toddler's fingers. If you want a compact SUV that can corner, it's got a little bit of kick behind it, it sounds amazing.
Gas,
yeah,
gas,
yeah,
pretty good on gas.
Absolutely, and it's not a hybrid, and it still has good gas mileage, so that's a big benefit. But you know, I would like to wait until the next generation maybe and see what BMW changes, and you know, maybe they fix a lot of these things that we're complaining about too. So there you have it. That's our thoughts on the 2024 BMW X1 M35i. Make sure you smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you with Uncle Steve next time.
Yeah, and smash the eggplant next time.
Yeah, smash the eggplant.